Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by, I guess, YouTube now?
Uh-oh.
Question mark? This is episode 789, recorded live on April 6th, 2024. And here are your hosts. The man who can hopefully tell me what's going on, Dave Pillay.
Hi.
And the man who can hopefully tell Dave what's going on, Andy Lowe. Hi.
Our website's gone.
Yeah, I
right?
noticed.
Like it's gone.
I noticed when I went to go post the last episode, and I'm like...
Yeah, internal server error.
I know we had talked about this, but...
Yep.
It's like the death of a family member. It's like, okay, you know what's going to happen, but... It happened. So I'm like, well, shoot, what am I supposed to do? So first off, yes. So the website is gone at the moment?
For the moment.
Okay.
Like, we still own it. We still own rapodcast.net.
Well, yes, because the domain is not the actual server. It's just...
I could feasibly, like, say, hey, I want to put up a single page app, like just a single HTML page, and just serve that and not do any fancy, like, server-side stuff. Which I probably should do, of like, we've moved, or check back soon.
Maybe something? Anything?
Something more than just internal server error?
Yes. Does our webmail still work? Do we even have a webmaster at RA Podcast email address?
Probably. The mail site should still work. We can test that. You can send an email to me at RA Podcast and see if it goes to my other page.
All right, hold on. I'm going to contact the server administrator at webmaster at rapodcast.net.
Oh, I wouldn't suggest doing... I'd probably mail at RA Podcast is better, right? That's the actual one that we've been telling people to use.
Yes. Well, let's see. You know what? 2 birds, 1 stone. I can send emails to multiple people at the same time.
You can.
Okay, message has been sent, but I've got my undo thing there, so give it about 30 seconds. God, I do... Oh, that's not the email I sent. Did you send an email too?
I sent an email too. I got the one that's from you.
Oh.
That was to webmaster and mail.
Webmaster at rapodcast.net does not work.
Exist.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but mail at RA Podcast does.
Yes.
I still think we're brought to you by rapodcast.net. It's just the website is down.
Okay. Well, we should at least do a redirect or
do something about that.
Yes.
Yep.
So what I did, because I scramble and I went into my old job mode of fireman, fix something, get something on the air. I started up a YouTube feed because YouTube can do podcasts now.
Yes, which honestly might just be a better choice for us all together.
Well, the thing I didn't realize, though, was that it is a playlist on my personal page, which has currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos on it. Well, now 6, because it's got one podcast.
Why didn't you just make I thought you did make a Google account for RA Podcast.
I don't think so.
So that we could just upload the videos to the RA Podcast channel as RA Podcast.
Oh, Retro Achievements Podcast is already there.
Already has it?
If I search RA Podcast from 3 years ago, how many podcasts do they have? They have 24 episodes. 2 years ago was the last one. They have RA Podcast 2058 is their actual sign in. So, I could see about doing something, but I need something. And then YouTube wanted to verify that I was me, so that took a bit.
Are you sure you are who you say you are?
Yep. So then it approved me, and then it's like, I'm sorry, your video is blank, and I'm like, well, yeah, because we're an audio only podcast. Crap, I need a video. So I tried to open up Movie Maker, but that doesn't exist on my laptop anymore.
This is why I was asking you, like, what would it take?
Yes. So I installed an open source video editor, threw the MP3 file on there, threw our podcast thumbnail on there as video.
Yep, and that's what's on YouTube.
Yep.
I was there for the premiere.
Yes, I was there for the premiere as well.
I listened to it.
What? You actually listened to the episode?
Yeah.
I was in the middle of book club, so I couldn't listen to the episode.
You just had it playing in the background.
Yep.
As part of book club.
Oh, speaking of book club, it was my pick.
I saw. I already have it on my Kindle.
Yep, I luckily already had the ebook for it because trying to get it right now from the library.
It's going to be a little bit of a wait.
Hold on, let me pull up. What was it? What did Overdrive say it was at? It was something ridiculous.
What I should do is I should put the audiobook back on my phone. It's Dune, by the way.
Yes.
For people listening. We're reading Dune for book club. Andy's pick at my behest and my suggestion.
Yes. The audiobook, about a 14-week wait for the audiobook.
Yeah.
And the ebook is a 9-week wait.
Oh no. Andy. Andy.
What?
Do you don't happen to know of an M4B to MP3 converter, do you?
M4B?
Yep.
M4B? What file format is that?
That is a Apple audiobook format.
Oh, an MPEG. It's an MPEG-4 format. Okay, so MPEG-4 to MP3.
Okay, there's websites for it.
Yeah, VLC can do that.
Cool. Okay. I have Dune as an M4B.
Yeah, no, VLC can handle if it's an MPEG-4, it's just an MPEG-4 with a different file extension, it looks like.
Oh, it's got some extra information. It's got like chapter information in it.
Okay, so but if it's an MPEG-4 audio, VLC can handle it.
Okay.
So
VLC is amazing.
Yes. Oh my God.
Just putting that out there. Like VLC is incredible.
Somebody was every once in a while we'll get weird formats from clients back when I was working at the radio station of their stuff because somebody recorded it with like some old, handheld recorder or, some weird format from their phone or something. And they would send it to us. And our production guy at the time was just like, I don't know what to do with this.
You're like, VLC.
I'm like, email it to me. 5 minutes later, I'll give you the WAV file. Sometimes it was like I'd be able to preview it in Windows. And so I would just record Windows playing back the preview and it'd be like, here's your file. Other times, I would do the actual file conversion itself. 90% of the time, it was just knowing what buttons to hit in VLC to get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the moment, yes, no, I can see about creating an actual RA Podcast Gmail account and do it that way. But right now, it's up there, and I can post on our Facebook page that it exists.
Which also posts to our Twitter page?
That goes through our RSS feed, which probably hasn't been updated.
Nope, the RSS feed is going to be dead for a bit.
Okay, then I will have to manually update that stuff because it just worked. A lot of things are like, hey, connect this to your RSS feed, and boom, you're done. And I'm like, sweet.
Now I never have to think about it.
Now I have to.
You do.
Technology, you don't have to think about it until you do. But that's going to be a Tuesday problem, at least.
Okay.
Because Monday is the eclipse.
Yep.
And surprisingly, Ohio is actually going to have better weather for the eclipse than Texas.
Nice.
Which is literally the exact opposite of historical norm.
Yes.
Normally, the farther south you go in April, the better the weather. Turns out, not so much. There's going to be like thunderstorms down in Texas. And there's going to be thunderstorms in the morning in Ohio, but they're supposed to mostly clear out by 3 p.m. So we'll be leaving tomorrow morning, heading down to Ohio. I got to see what the...
and a lot of other people.
Yes, that's why we're going down tomorrow and not Monday. Yep. And I'm guessing our 3-hour trip down there is probably going to be a 4 to 6 hour trip on the way back.
Because of all the people?
Yes. I'm probably going to bring, man, too bad I can't take my work truck because I could be a bit of a jerk and just throw like a yellow flashing light on the top of the work truck.
Yeah.
And I've got police sirens. So I could
Isn't it illegal to do that?
Yes, it is. It is highly illegal.
Okay. It's like, you Andy.
Yes, no, that would be highly illegal, but I could
Not
do
only
it.
is it illegal, it is unethical.
Mm-hmm. I would probably get fired.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I would get fired for doing that.
Like, why? Why would you want...
Because I don't want to get stuck in eclipse traffic for 3 hours.
Then stay an extra day.
No.
It's not like you don't know people who live in the area.
That is true.
Or like, go do a Pokemon Go day in Ohio.
I finally caught a Snorlax.
Oh, I didn't know you needed one.
Well, yeah, I never had one. And then they're like, hey, catch a Snorlax for this event. And I finally, one finally showed up. And then we were going to go out for a walk because Isaac needed an Onyx. And I just opened up my app because I want to go see which lure I had. Because the Onyx is...
rock.
Yeah, it's a rock one, but I think he takes a magnetic lure.
I don't think so.
Just a regular lure?
For evolving him?
Well, no, just for... having him show up.
For having him show up. I don't know if he is attracted to any lures. Hang on, let me check the magnetic lures. What does item can't be used here? I want to know what magnetic lure attracts. Because Onyx is I think just rock and ground? Yeah, rock and ground. And magnetic lures, I think, attract steel and electric. Magnetic lure, Pokemon Go. End rock. Okay. Steel, electric, and rock. So yes, it would... oh no. It is not listed in the following Pokemon have increased spawn rates.
What? Oh, because it's on the removed side. I didn't see there was a current and removed. Well, poop.
Well, you gotta find one.
No, I literally opened up my thing to see if I had a magnetic lure, and there was one sitting outside our house.
Okay.
So I quickly flipped to Isaac's account on my phone, and luckily he hadn't run away yet. So
yep.
I used some berries and an Ultra Ball to get it, but I got it for him. So
grats.
Yep. We still went on a walk anyway, just because
an event going.
Well, let's just catch random big Pokemon and catch random small Pokemon.
Yeah.
But the Pokemon encounter at the end of the quest got me a hundo big whale thing.
Whalmer?
Yes.
A whale?
Is that supposed to be a joke?
No.
Okay, just checking.
It's a reference, not a joke.
Oh, don't know that one.
I don't remember what it's a reference to. I just know it's in there somewhere.
All right. Well,
yep.
That's what's going on with the podcast. That's what's going on in life.
Eclipse. Yay, Eclipse.
All right. I was actually going to look to see what the how long the eclipse would be for our location. Because it's not the family farm, but I think it's a relative of the family down there. So it's a place I've never been, but they sent me the address, and the address can get me the GPS coordinates, right? Right. So I do this, and I do this, and where are the GPS coordinates on Google Maps?
Very difficult to find. Hang on. I think you can right click and get the coordinates.
Oh, yep. Yes, I can. 41. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's single left click, but it's way at the bottom.
Yep, I see it. Survey says totality begins at 3:12 and 6 seconds. Maximum eclipse 3:13:41. Totality ends 3:15 and 17 seconds. So 3 minutes and 10 seconds of totality. That's not bad.
No. I hope you enjoy it. I hope the kids enjoy it.
I hope nobody burns their eyeballs out.
Don't look at the sun, Andy.
Except with the glasses on, or if it's in the totality, then you can, but put your glasses on before 3:15 and 17 seconds.
Ideally have the glasses on during totality too, but
I thought you can take them off during totality. It's just as soon as you get outside of totality, then
at the totality of an eclipse. Can you look at the sun during totality? You have to be careful not to look at partial phases of the eclipse without eye protection.
Yes. Except during the brief total phase of a total solar eclipse when the moon completely blocks the sun's bright face, it is not safe to look directly at the sun without the eye glasses. So yes, so we get 3 minutes to look around without the glasses. Well, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. God, it's going to start at 1:57 is when it's first going to start to cover it. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be completely ending at 4:27. Well, that should be fun.
Yep.
Nice and long.
For me, it starts at 12:51 local time, and maximum eclipse is at 2:06 p.m. local time, and 3:20 is the end. Wear eclipse glasses.
Yeah, that's to be the thing is trying to figure out how to get back because this thing is on the east side of Toledo. So we're going to have to somehow get across Toledo.
I'm telling you, Andy, just stay the rest of the day. Possibly stay till the next day. I'm looking at the map. I know what highways you would have to drive. Just don't.
Yeah, Toledo's not going to be fun, especially because you have to cross the river, and there are only so many places to cross the river.
I could just go straight south and get into, like, Kentucky. It wouldn't even be Kentucky. It would be, like, southern Illinois. I could just drive tomorrow. I could just drive straight south. It takes, like, 8 hours. There are no hotels that are still open down there.
Nope.
So if I wanted to catch it in time for the eclipse, the eclipse starts at 12, so I'd need to leave at like 4 in the morning.
No, don't. Just
on Monday. I don't have Monday off either, so like I'd have to take Monday off, just do a sick day. Be like, sorry.
Oh, where did I hear about somebody taking like 2 sick days to go see a music concert down in Nashville? And
did they get caught?
Yes.
Oops. My parents are flying tomorrow. It'd be great if they're flying through the eclipse.
That'd be crazy. Well, tomorrow is Sunday.
Oh, yeah. So they will not be flying through the eclipse.
No, unless it's
possible.
Unless it's a very long flight.
That'd be a very long flight. We probably should talk about some of these topics, shouldn't we?
I suppose.
Or is the death of the website the like, and now it's just Andy and Dave shooting shit for an hour?
Well, we can talk about long flights and about Voyager 1, because that's been a long flight.
I mean, with 0 passengers, but sure.
It's still been out there for 15 billion miles. So
with 0 passengers?
Yes, it's still a lot of equipment, and equipment that has been going wrong.
Look, wrong is a very, I think, unfortunate term there, given how impressive this is that it's gone on as long as it has.
Yes, almost 50 years now. But, so we had talked about how Voyager 1 was basically sending back garbled junk.
Right, and someone got it to, like, dump its entire memory?
Yes.
Okay.
Engineers at JPL confirmed that a small portion of corrupted memory located inside Voyager 1's flight data system is what's causing the error, because the flight data system includes packaging all the science and engineering data for relay to Earth through the telemetry modulation unit and the radio transmitter.
Okay.
So all the scientific stuff is working fine. It's just basically the envelope stuffer has gone a little haywire.
Do we know how and why it went a little haywire?
They think that, the team suspects that a single chip responsible for storing part of the affected portion of the FDS memory isn't working. Engineers can't determine with certainty what caused the issue. 2 possibilities are that the chip could have been hit by an energetic particle from space, or that it simply may have worn out after 46 years.
It's old.
Yeah. So basically, they're just trying to figure out if the FDS can work, if you can somehow bypass that failed memory chip.
Can they reset the chip?
I don't know. Okay, so they sent a readout of the FDS memory. The signal was different from the code the cave has been. After several weeks of examination, the new code engineers pinpointed the location of the bad memory. So they'll have to... So engineers are optimistic they can find a way for the FDS to operate normally without the unstable memory hardware, which would enable Voyager 1 to begin returning science and engineering again. So they think they can go around it, but we're not sure yet. But at least they figured out the problem, which is hilarious.
They know
that
what's
they can
going
do this.
on.
Yeah, because how do you figure out remotely what's going wrong if you cannot get any data back remotely because it's all garbage?
Well, you can try and figure out what part of the garbage it is, and it's the it was the Enigma machine, right? It's cracking the Enigma machine.
Yep.
If you know what the message is supposed to be, it's a lot easier to decode it.
Yes. Wasn't one of the things with the Enigma decoding is that they always would sign their messages like
HH.
HH? Yeah.
Yep. They'd end each transmission with HH.
Oh.
Look, they didn't think that the British had even a smidge of a chance of figuring it out.
Yep.
So they really didn't care. They also didn't think about the weaknesses of it.
There was some where if I remember, if I read the book, I read a couple of books about is it
Enigma?
The park.
Oh, Bletchley Park.
Yes, Bletchley Park. Read a couple of books about that, and some of the enigmas were basically stationed with certain people, and those people knew each other, so they would talk to they would write each other's names in the code. So they started to figure out, okay, like, oh, this is this person and this is this person. And we always know they always go like, oh, hey, you.
So starting the message with, hi, Andy.
Yeah. Every single message starting with hi, Andy and ending with HH.
Yep.
Yep.
The other huge flaw in the Enigma is that if you press the same letter twice, it will always have two different letters as the output.
Oh, yes, because the dial always spins.
The dial always moves. So it is physically impossible for me to press the same key twice and get the same result twice.
Yep.
Which means that anytime you saw double letters in the Enigma output, you knew those had to be different source letters.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's really cool that, what it does and how it works, but decoding it was really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
A huge reason why we won the war.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of dangerous problems.
Sure. Oh, can I do my dangerous problem?
Sure, you can use your dangerous problem.
My dangerous problem is the one that I added, the XZ backdoor.
Which I have no idea what.
So, last week, not even last week, a month ago, a month-ish, a engineer was working on a project and noticed his authentication time changed from 2 milliseconds to 7 milliseconds. Now, first off, the only reason you would notice that sort of change is if you're doing benchmarking. Because, I can't press a button in 5 milliseconds. I can't start and stop a timer within 5 milliseconds. Can you? Have you tried?
No, I know I can't.
Right. So he noticed a time discrepancy of 5 milliseconds and said, that's weird. And then, instead of saying, okay, well, it's 7 milliseconds, he said, I wonder what's causing that. And so he started digging in, and he started digging in, and he started looking around. There is a library included in a utility included in many Linux distributions. This utility is called XZ. The purpose of the utility is for file compression. So it is there to compress files. A nefarious actor, whether it is an individual or a state, is yet to be seen, over the course of years, worked themselves into a position of trust using social engineering and fake accounts and a bunch of other crap to where they were a maintainer of this library, of this utility.
Oh, that's not good.
And they added code, not to if you go to Git and you look at the Git code, the source code, everything's fine. But they added code to the pre-built files that are hosted there. And so you don't know that there's additional code in these pre-built files because they're just the files that you think are the files that you would get if you built the code on the Git repository. The code that he added to the files is a SSH backdoor.
Oh.
That would allow for arbitrary code execution from any computer to any Linux system running this library without them needing to actively run the library.
Oh my goodness.
It is so sophisticated. Just having the library and like having it in your Linux system, Linux would preload the files that it needs that would change the other files in the system so that when signed with the attacker's private key, the attacker can send commands to the computer that run as root. And the commands that are sent to the computer are disguised as authentication traffic. It would be almost impossible to find this. And one guy accidentally figured it out. If this had not been discovered as early as it was, because this was still in a very recent release of this utility, it only affected like bleeding edge versions of several Linux distributions. But if this had gotten through and no one had found it until way later, it would have been absolutely catastrophic.
I'm looking at this thing here. The guy, somebody created his account back in 2021 to cause this problem in 2024.
Yep. This was a 3-year-long plan and probably was planned for even longer because of some things that were happening right towards the end. The timeline for this had to get moved up.
Oh my.
This would have been insanely bad.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep. Like they were adding small pieces of this throughout the last 2 years. But also like the social engineering to become the person who was trusted for this was insane.
Yeah, I'm reading that they submitted a patch, and a never-before-seen participant joined the discussion and argued that the longtime maintainer of XZ hadn't been updating the software often or fast enough with the support of several. So the guy with support from several other people who had never had a presence on the list before pressured the current maintainer to bring on an additional developer to maintain the project, which turned out to be the bad actor.
Yep.
Wow.
So all these other sock puppet accounts were there to convince the actual maintainer, and like really mean emails like you're clearly not interested in this anymore. This deserves more time than you're giving it. Like pressuring that you aren't good enough to do this. You need to bring on additional help.
Wow.
And then as soon as the person was made co-maintainer, they all disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
They all disappeared.
Wow.
Yep. It's not good.
No.
It's good that it was caught. This would have been like probably the most catastrophic security breach ever.
Somebody always joked about, oh, the internet's so secure. And I'm like, no, the internet's held together
it's not. It's not. It's so not.
By twine and bubble gum is how the internet is held together.
It's also unknown where this person is from. And like, was this a state government trying to build a backdoor into systems across the world?
Crazy.
Yep. It's bad.
Yep.
So that's my topic.
And this is why the people at work, my current job, dealing with police and fire and 911 are like, why don't we just use the public internet and phones and everything? And we're just like, no.
Because the public internet is a dangerous place.
Yeah, no, it's like we spend a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to basically make our own network.
A little bit more money, let's be honest.
Yes,
it's not free.
No, it's not free. But we it's like you have, if something goes down, there is a person on call 24/7, who will be there as soon as possible to fix it. Can you say that about Comcast?
Well, okay, maybe. So I was about to say, look, if Comcast had the state of Michigan as a customer, I'm sure they'd have a dedicated, and then I'm like, oh, but Verizon didn't.
Yeah.
What was that? That was with the firefighters?
Yep.
Where Verizon, shut down their access?
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Yep, I actually talked to some of the firefighters because I was doing the firefighter radios, and they are still bitter about that.
I don't doubt that.
All of the firefighters now have FirstNet phones, which it turns out I could actually get a FirstNet phone if I wanted to. I'll have to see.
What is a FirstNet phone?
FirstNet is remember the frequency auctions, and how there was. I think this was the DTV auctions. So this wasn't the one recent. This was way back in the HD TV transition stage. But there was a block of frequencies. It was the first one available, but it was required to have some of that frequency usage put directly and specifically for first responders. So police, fire, EMS, that sort of stuff. AT&T won that contract. So they got a nice big chunk of spectrum, but they had to create a specific, basically, cell phone network for first responders, and it's called FirstNet. And they have priority service over everybody else on the AT&T network.
Okay.
You're basically on your own network because you show up, you get service, and it was did I ever talk about Tulip Time up in Holland?
Nope.
I swear I must have.
I mean, you might have. That doesn't mean I paid attention to it.
Right. So Tulip Time is the big parade up in Holland, Michigan.
Sure.
Where all the tulips, they have all the tulips blooming all over towns. Yep. Hundreds of thousands of people descend on Holland, Michigan for a week. And we have radio stations in Holland, Michigan, who are always they would broadcast during the parade. So not only was everybody in Holland for the festival, everybody was basically crammed into this. It's like the Thanksgiving Day parade for Holland. Everybody is crammed into a small stretch of Main Street.
Of downtown Holland, Michigan.
Of downtown Holland, Michigan.
Very big.
No. And the cell phone companies would always bring in extra cows and everything. And it just still was never enough. So we always had to try and convince one of the buildings to let us borrow their hardwire internet so we could actually broadcast the things there, because it just trying to use the cellular connection was, good luck, have fun. Until we got our hands on the FirstNet boxes, because we were we dealt with the police and everything for the emergency alert system. So we were able to get into FirstNet for that. So we got a FirstNet little cradle point, and
better.
Not even a blip. We were just broadcasting 24/7 because we never had hit our data cap. So we just kept that thing up and running the whole time. Not a single blip. I looked at that log and I'm looking for lost packets, and I couldn't. It just never showed up.
Awesome.
So FirstNet it's a different phone system entirely almost. But speaking of cable and telecoms, the FCC has scheduled a vote to restore the net neutrality rules on April 25th.
Yay! So the lawsuits can begin again.
Yep.
Because they're going to, right? As soon as they say, nope, the rules are back in place, Comcast and Verizon and AT&T are going to say, but my profits.
Who said it was? Michael Powell, former FCC chairman and now CEO of the lobby group NCTA. the Internet and Television Association, said that the FCC must reverse course to avoid years of litigation and uncertainty. If that's not a shot across the bow.
Yeah.
Saying, oh yeah, you're going to do this? Well, as soon as you do this, we're going to sue.
Litigate the hell out of this.
Again. I wonder if you
What happened to the old suits? Did they drop them because it was no longer an issue?
Okay, so that was back in what, Ajit Pai repealed it in 2017.
Yep. There were several suits that were currently in place in 2016.
Well, let's see. The broadband industry's attempt to overturn. Oh, this was because California made their own rules.
Right.
Which the FCC said that the California rules are not going to be affected by this. They saw California as a nice test case to see if these would work.
Okay.
People challenged the California rules, which got rejected by the courts. Let's see.
I love the call for states' rights, except when the states do things I don't like them doing.
Yep. Okay, so the use of Title II was upheld in court back in 2016.
Man, I'm going to have to relearn all these different parts.
Yep. So they haven't put out the text of the pending net neutrality order, but I'm guessing it's going to be very similar to the previous rules that they had already agreed upon and had already been litigated against and lost against.
Hope so.
But we'll find out April 25th.
Yeah.
Is when the vote will happen, and then 90 days after that will be published in the Federal Record and
will be law.
Yep.
Unless someone challenges and the courts say, hang on a second.
Yep.
Which is entirely possible.
So going from the FCC, we could go to the FTC.
Okay.
Because the ESRB, Super Awesome, and Yachty. I've never heard of Super Awesome or Yachty.
Isn't Super Awesome a gaming?
No, they run free parental consent management platform, Kids Web Services, as well as kid-focused advertising and influencer marketing businesses.
Super Awesome is a youth marketing company that offers services to help build a safer internet. Interesting.
Well, the ESRB, Super Awesome, and Yachty tried to file to have facial age estimation technology added to the list of acceptable forms of obtaining parental consent for collecting kids' information under COPPA.
And that went how far?
Well, the FTC received 354 comments on the issue. Most of them were over privacy protections and whether the technology involved actually worked. The FTC voted 4-0 to deny the application.
Good. How is it supposed to know that I'm 17 years and 10 months versus 18 years and 1 month?
I don't know. Facial age estimation technology. That just...
Yep.
That just does not sound right. But the FTC did not rule on the merits of the proposal, so it can be refiled in the future. So I don't know I can't read between the lines on that one.
I think it means that they're worried about the privacy aspect and they're just going to wait and people will be more used to this kind of technology in a couple years. And so they'll try again. What's a pink slime website, Andy?
Oh, pink slime is what you think
that's the meat, right? That's what you get at McDonald's. That's chicken nuggets.
Man, I just had some chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
Well, it's pink slime.
Oh, but God, it was good.
I know, they're so delicious.
God. I have been getting, actually, at McDonald's, I've just been getting Happy Meals now.
For yourself?
Well, yeah, because it's 6 nuggets, small fries. I can always upgrade the drink if I wanted to, but then it also comes with a toy, which, sometimes are good toys. Like there was, Pokemon cards, or there are these cute Adopt Me little plastic guys.
Do you know what we've been using those toys for?
What?
We drill a hole in them and then put a hook in them, and then there are Christmas ornaments.
Oh, I can see that.
Yep, that's half the ornaments on my tree were toys that were either from McDonald's or Goodwill.
Well, that would look very festive.
And very not Christmas.
That's true.
Having Skeletor on your Christmas tree does not, like, ring the Yuletide bells, as it were.
We put Ant-Man on our Christmas tree this year. It was a little tiny Ant-Man.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Ant-Man, we had Creepers. I think we had a Minecraft zombie on there this year. We have a whole star fleet that lights up.
Nice.
So, no, I know that feeling. But pink slime sites are basically mimicking local news providers, but are actually very highly partisan websites that are basically not giving you news, but trying to give you propaganda.
Ah.
And the number of partisan news outlets in the U.S. now equals genuine local newspaper sites.
I would have expected them to outnumber genuine sites, like, by a lot.
Well, let's see. NewsGuard, which rates the quality and trustworthiness of news sites, has identified 1,197 pink slime sites operating in the U.S. as of April 1st, about as many as the estimated 1,200 real news sites operated by daily local newspapers. Huh.
All right.
So, yeah, it's a... You lose the local news, like, oh, people will pick up the slack. Not really. Nope. It'll just... get filled with pink slime, it looks like.
Yep.
So let's see. Oh, kangaroos. I want to talk about kangaroos.
This is Apple and kangaroos? No, Apple dropped their car.
This is cars and kangaroos.
Right, but which AI?
It looks like most of the AI. Volvo says that most of their detection and avoidance systems for kangaroos doesn't work because most of the time the system was trained on things like moose, elk, horses, deer. Animals that
kangaroo is a very different shape.
Yes.
Also, they behave very different.
Yes. It also quickly became clear that ground detection wouldn't work for animals that hop. When it's airborne, you lose the point of reference of where it actually is. What? You're telling me when it leaves the ground, your ground detection system stops working?
Well, yeah. It's much harder to place a thing that's floating in space in its actual space.
Yep.
Because at that point, you lose your ability to use perspective. Is it just a big kangaroo that's close? Or is it a much smaller kangaroo? Wait, no, sorry. Big kangaroo that's far away or a smaller kangaroo that's close?
Yep.
Like, you need some sort of radar at that point. I did not know that this was a driving issue in Australia.
Well, we should get Kaza on. Kaza, have you had problems with kangaroos? I feel like he would just be like, really? You bring me on the show to ask me about kangaroos?
Well, we need an Australian, and you're Australian.
So it seems that the car makers are saying that their current system doesn't work, and they're sick of spending money on systems that don't work.
Yeah.
So what they're doing instead is basically creating virtual fencing around the roads.
Okay.
There are posts in the ground.
Kangaroos won't know about the virtual fence.
Well,
just putting that out there.
Okay, so the virtual fencing is a fence post every 82 feet, one on each side of the road. Mm-hmm. At dusk and dawn, when kangaroo collisions are most likely, the device activates when it senses oncoming headlights. Mm-hmm. The post flashes blue and yellow lights away from the road and emits a high-pitched repeating chirp.
This does not sound like a good solution. You're just going to, breed kangaroos that are, afraid of cars, I guess? Also, the fencing is, insanely expensive. $11,000 Australian for less than a mile.
Ooh, yeah, that's a hefty price tag. Because
that's very expensive.
Australia is not small.
No.
Isaac right now is doing an atlas before we go to bed, and Australia is quite large.
It is about the size of the continental United States.
Yep, but still,
now, a lot of it's empty.
and I guess full of kangaroos.
Not those parts.
Yeah, like
when I say empty, I mean like uninhabitable.
Yeah.
The actual outback, like the desert in the middle of Australia, it is not a pleasant place.
No, it is a big desert.
I don't think a lot of kangaroos live there.
Isn't something like 98 or 99% of Australians live within like X number of miles of the coast?
Of the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, for what it's worth, that number is not too different for the United States.
Yeah, no, because most of the states in the center are the least populated ones, aren't they?
How much of the United States population lives near the coast? 40% of the U.S. lives on the coast.
Well, now let's see.
80% of Australians live on the coast.
Almost 90% living within 50 kilometers of the coastline.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, look at it this way. As the oceans rise, they have more and more of a country to fall back to.
I'm just, going to be happy to be sitting here in Michigan surrounded by, 20%?
Freshwater.
20% of the world's freshwater? Surface freshwater?
Depends on how you measure. Because if you look at the available freshwater, it's, I think, more than that.
One-fifth of the world's fresh surface water supply.
Mm-hmm. The next World War will be about water. I don't remember who said that, but...
Was that on Waterworld?
No.
No. Another reference that we just don't know.
Yeah. Google might know that one. Who said the next World War will be fought over water? Ismail Serageldin, the former vice president of the World Bank, said the wars of the next century will be fought over water unless there are significant changes in governance. If the wars of this century were fought over oil, the wars of the next century will be fought over water.
Yeah, no, can't argue against that. I mean, what's the current water level of the Colorado River?
Low. Very low.
Well, anything else on this list that you want to talk about? You're curious about?
I mean, Roku doing ads.
Not only doing ads, but ads that they will inject on top of what you're watching on TV.
So like the billboards on the TV?
Basically, yeah. If you pause your game, let's see, they filed a patent for a technology that would let it inject ads into third-party content using an HDMI connection. The patent describes a situation where you are playing a video game and hit pause to go check your phone or grab some food. At this point, Roku will identify that you have paused the content and display a relevant ad until you unpause the game.
That sucks. Not happy.
The patent suggests several ways that Roku could spot when your TV is paused, like comparing frames to make sure the user had actually paused the content. Roku might also use the HDMI's audio feed to search for extended moments of silence. So yeah, they will. If your thing is paused, then yeah. Now this is just a patent filing for it, not an actual. This is not rolling out, but
gross.
Yeah,
still gross.
Yep. This is what cheap TVs. You don't pay for a cheap TV up front. You pay for it on the back end.
Yep. Okay. Let's hit the randos.
Okay. You're not wrong, but that just sounded weird.
Hit the randos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hit the random topic and random review.
Well, review first. It is your review, sir.
It is my review. I would like to review my capture card for Nintendo Switch with 4K pass-through USB 3.0, 1080p, etc. Some Chinese
alphabet soup.
Yep.
I've heard them called alphabet soup or Scrabble bag.
Yeah. It's a capture card. It works. It took me a little bit to figure out that it just pretends like it's a webcam.
Wait, what?
So the way it works is you plug the HDMI into the card.
Yeah.
And then a USB from the card to the computer. And so the computer just reads the card as a webcam.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it handles it.
So it's a virtual camera then. Okay. USB 3.0 can only reach 1080p 60 frames per second. Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, so you can plug anything then into this, right?
Yeah, it does not need to be a switch. And in fact, if you look below it in the ad, in the store page, it's like you can connect anything to it. It's really any HDMI. I did have to do a little bit of work with like virtual audio cables because I want to be able to stream with this, and I am streaming with this, but its input is a webcam's audio, and so I can't like put that through to my headphones and to the broadcast without using a virtual cable.
Yep.
But that's not too hard.
No, I've done that before. You just got to have the right little piece of software to basically turn an output to an input, or to an input to an output. Easy peasy, not bad. Wow, this thing, well, okay, so how come is it just literally the color that's the price difference?
Yeah, between the three of them.
Okay, so that's black, that's blue.
The black, it's the side, if you look at it. Because you're like, it's orange, but it says black. It's the side of it.
Huh.
It doesn't matter because it's going to be hidden away.
Yep. One 4K capture card, one USB 3.0 cable, one user manual. Okay. So you'll still need HDMI cable and blah, 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 blah. But
yeah.
You can get those. You could also
everywhere.
get that on Amazon.
You can get those everywhere. It works well. Like, I've been able to stream from the Switch. I also bought an HDMI splitter. Well, not splitter, an HDMI switcher. So I actually have my PS4 and my Switch both up here plugged into the switcher, plugged into this. So I can just like easily go between them if I want to change what I'm playing.
Oh, so you don't have to unplug and replug. That's a good idea.
Right.
That's smart.
It just means taking an extra HDMI cable and the switcher. But yeah, it's worked really well. It was super easy to set up. Again, once I realized it's a webcam. Because I'm like, I plug it in, I'm like, cool. How do I get the video from it? There's no software. There's no anything. What do I do? Oh, it's a webcam. It just thinks it's a webcam. It's a video source.
What is this YUY2 video format option?
I don't know.
What the is that? Never heard of that format before, and I feel like I should know this. What YUY2? YUY2 format. What is that? A digital color difference component video picture format identified by the code YUY2. The Y represents luminance information, and a U and V represent color information.
Are you reading the Library of Congress?
No, I'm reading a video forum.
YUY2 encoding allows variations in feature like picture size, aspect ratio, component levels.
Oh, MJPEG is a motion video compression format that compresses each video frame as a JPEG image. Well, yeah, because if you're going to be it as a webcam. Well, some odd formats, but if it's just a webcam, it doesn't really need crazy resolution stuff. Well, especially if you're using it for a Switch. What's the resolution on your Switch?
Switch HDMI resolution. Let's find out. When it's docked in TV mode, the output is when in tabletop or handheld mode, maximum is 1280 by 720. But when it's docked, it is 1290 by 1080.
Okay. So yeah, so it's 1080. So you don't really need to worry about.
Right. I'm not streaming like 4K from my Switch.
Yeah. Why do they call it a 4K input 4K input and pass through? But you're telling me that the PC USB port resolution can only max out at 1080.
Because they're lying?
Oh, okay. It's a pass through, and so you could have it still plugged into a TV
and also
send it to your computer.
That's nice. That would explain the other HDMI port that I don't use.
Yeah. So if you wanted to put it on a big screen monitor so you could actually really see what's going on, then you could pass.
Oh, that's right. Because I actually had thought about doing that, and then I realized I didn't need to because I can just have OBS output its output as a window on my other computer monitor. Because webcam.
Yep. But if you wanted to actually see it in 4K, because this thing can't capture in 4K, it can just pass through in 4K.
Right.
Yep.
But the Switch doesn't work.
As we just found out, doesn't do 4K. Yeah. All right. Well, this is a fancy little box, and it's
really it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, part of me really hates that it's really cheap, but then part of me doesn't, because you can do so much now with this cheap stuff that actually works decently.
Yep.
You look at some of the stuff there and you're like, oh, this is, some no-name brand, as we saw. But, who knows what factory this is made in. But it still works.
It still works.
And it
does
cheap.
what I need it to do.
Yep.
I'm able to stream from the Switch.
One of the people I had talked to about podcasting, he was doing a video podcast, and he's like, can your camera do X, Y, and Z? If not, I'm going to buy this cheap one off of Amazon and just ship it to you, because I know this one works. We've used it before, and it's cheap, so I have no problem every once in a while just biting the bullet and buying it and sending it to you, especially if you're a repeat podcast person. Then you have a camera that works and is cheap but still looks good. All right. Well, there you go. Capture card for Nintendo Switch and beyond.
Yep.
All right. So, random topic. Rolled ahead of time. What do you think of Justin Bieber's comeback song, Pouring Vernors?
I don't listen to Justin Bieber, and I wouldn't care.
What has he been up to recently? I don't even want to know. Justin Bieber quietly spent $16 million on a California desert retreat. Justin and Hailey Bieber have a marriage update. I don't care.
Yeah, cool. He has a song. Rats. I know he doesn't, but in this situation, cool.
How did Justin Bieber know about Vernors? He's Canadian. Is there a Canadian version? Canada Dry. How come it's not Canada Dry? Pouring down a bit of the CD.
Pouring Canada Dry?
Mm-hmm. Is Canada Dry actually even Canadian?
I doubt it.
Let's see. Canada Dry. Is there a history of Canada Dry? No, I don't want to buy Canada Dry. I just want to know about Canada Dry. If I wanted to buy Canada Dry Google, I would have gone to the shopping tab. Let's see. Canada Dry history. Oh, Toronto area chemist. Started his own soda water. Currently now owned by Dr. Pepper Keurig, or Keurig Dr. Pepper.
Isn't that who owns... No, Vernors is owned by... Doesn't Dr. Pepper own Vernors?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm in Wikipedia. Vernors is... Oh, yep.
Dr. Pepper...
Keurig Dr. Pepper now owns Vernors as well.
Yeah, so they own both Canada Dry and Vernors. It doesn't matter who you buy from. It's all the same.
Vernors brand was purchased by A&W in 1987, which was then purchased by Cadbury. Ugh. Cadbury. Could you imagine a Cadbury egg soda?
I'm pretty sure Jones has made that.
Probably. Yeah. Vernors is property of Keurig Dr. Pepper of Burlington, Massachusetts and Plano, Texas. Their flagship bottling plant serving Michigan is the Keurig Dr. Pepper bottling plant in Holland, Michigan. Oh, hey. So Keurig Dr. Pepper owns both Vernors and Canada Dry.
And apparently sponsors Justin Bieber now.
Which I guess would make sense for a company based out of, what did this say?
Toronto?
Burlington, Massachusetts and Plano, Texas?
Plano, Texas, yeah.
Yep, the real Green Mountains of Texas.
So yeah, that's that.
Wow, now I'm disappointed that
in which
Vernors is now owned by the same people who do Canada.
Vernors has been owned by them for a long time, Andy. You just read through their history.
I know, since 2009. 2009, it's been there. Wow. All right. Well, then on that bit of news, I guess that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.